Welcome back, curious minds, to History's Hidden Weird, the show where the past gets strange, surprising, and sometimes a little splashy. I'm your host, Quinn Strange, and today we are going straight into the marble halls of the Qing Dynasty, past silkscreens, nervous eunuchs, endless cups of tea, and right into the scented steam of one very powerful woman's private bathroom. Yes, today's episode is the last Empress of China and her bathtub throne, Cixi's strange reign from behind a screen. Because when you control the last dynasty of the world's oldest empire, but you're officially not allowed to rule, you get creative. Let's dive in. Cixi, born in 1835, entered the imperial palace as a low-ranking concubine. Nothing special. Just one among many. But life in the Forbidden City was basically a political game show where the prize for winning was, congratulations, you control China. And Cixi? She didn't just win. She rewrote the rules. She gave birth to the emperor's only surviving son. That alone bumped her from background character to main cast. When the emperor died in 1861, her 5-year-old son became the new ruler. And because toddlers aren't great at running empires, Cixi stepped in as co-regent. But here's the catch. Women in Qing Dynasty politics were not supposed to publicly govern. Appear in the court? Speak to ministers directly? Sit on the throne? Absolutely not. So Cixi governed from behind a silk screen, literally. Ministers would bow to an empty throne while she sat behind it, unseen, issuing commands. It was political puppetry, except the puppet masters were very much real, and very much women. Think of it like working remotely, but in 1861. Let's talk about the bathtub. The Empress Dowager Cixi was obsessed with bathing. Luxurious, ritualized, incredibly detailed bathing. This wasn't light a candle and relax. Her bathwater was infused with exotic herbs, milky mixtures, and oils so expensive they could each buy a small village. And her bathtub? A massive carved marble basin that basically doubled as a personal spa. But the real twist? Cixi was known to conduct political matters from the bath. Not every day. Not for formal court. But if she felt like it, she would have ministers summoned to the edge of her private quarters, speak to them from behind screens, and occasionally let the sound of splashing water punctuate her orders. Imagine running the world's most populous empire while soaking like you're at a day spa. Historical power move. Now, to be fair, she wasn't flaunting herself. All interactions were behind curtains and screens. But the symbolism was clear. She was powerful enough to rule from anywhere. Even from the tub. If you read Western sources from the late 19th century, Cixi was painted as a dragon lady, manipulative, cruel, scheming, bathing in powdered pearls while the country crumbled. But here's the twist. A lot of that was propaganda written by people who had never even seen her. Modern historians tend to agree that Cixi was far more complex and far more capable than Victorian newspapers claimed. Let's break down some of her real actions. She modernized China massively. Cixi introduced electricity, telephones, railroads, modern military training, and even the country's first naval academy. She pushed for women's rights. Late in life, she helped abolish foot binding, a tradition that had crippled women for centuries. She played palace politics like a grandmaster. The Forbidden City was filled with rival factions, assassinations, coups, and conspiracies. And Cixi survived all of them. She was not a saint. She made mistakes, some enormous. But she was also navigating a collapsing empire, foreign invasions, rebellions, corruption, and a political system that refused to let her rule openly. Her entire career was one long contradiction. A woman forbidden to hold power. Who controlled the empire for nearly 5 decades? Let's talk about the weird side, because this is history's hidden weird and we came for the strange. 1. Her skincare routines were legendary. She reportedly used lotions made from melted pearls, crushed flower petals, rare oils, and even ingredients that would make a modern dermatologist faint. 2. She had over 3,000 garments and changed up to 7 times a day. She changed clothes as often as a fashion influencer on a sponsored haul. 3. Her meals were enormous. The imperial kitchen prepared around 120 dishes per meal, though she only tasted a handful. Most were just decoys to prevent poisoning. 4. She loved photography. She posed for early photos in full imperial regalia, adjusting details to ensure the correct symbolism. Imagine the empress scrolling through filters. 5. She micromanaged everything. From silk production to foreign diplomacy to the angle of her teacups. It was her empire, and everyone knew it. By the time Cixi neared the end of her life, the Qing Dynasty was collapsing. Foreign powers carved up Chinese territory, rebellion spread, and internal corruption weakened the structures she had spent decades trying to hold together. She died in 1908. The dynasty fell just 3 years later. But Cixi herself? She remains a paradox. A woman who wasn't allowed to be seen governing. Who ruled from behind screens, behind curtains, and occasionally behind clouds of steam rising from a marble bathtub. A ruler both vilified and admired. Mocked and misunderstood. Condemned and celebrated. She is, truly, one of history's hidden weird. This has been History's Hidden Weird. I'm Quinn Strange. Thanks for listening. Stay curious. Stay kind. Stay wonderfully weird.